Alright there, hey guys. We have been working on square roots and squared numbers and perfect squares in class, and we've just started the estimation of square roots for numbers that are not perfect squares. So, I got a quick video here for you in case you need a reminder, whether you are at home practicing, studying for a test, whatever that may be. We're going to go through two questions here, and hopefully that will help you out if you are having any issues. So, we're going to start with the first question we're going to do is the square root of 18. Right? So, we've been practicing our perfect squares. We've been squaring numbers, and we know that 18 does not fall on our list. I actually have the square chart that we've made in class here as well. And so I know it's a little blurry, but you can see there we have all the way from 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, and 100. That is our squared numbers for the squares of 1 to 10. So when you're doing these estimations, guys, you're going to take that chart. If you don't have the numbers in your head. If you have the numbers in your head, that's great. As we continue to practice, you're going to become more and more familiar with which numbers are the perfect squares. And this is important because we need to know, like I said, which perfect numbers this falls in between. In this case, right, if I write these down for you, well, the square root of 9 equals 3. The square root of 16, which is our next perfect square, is 4. The square root of 25 equals 5. And the square root of 36 equals 6. Now, if we look at these four that I've given us, we can see that the square root of 18 is going to fall between the square root of 16 and the square root of 25, which means its answer is going to be between 4 and 5. So we're going to go ahead and pick a number between 4 and 5 and multiply it by itself to see how close it is to the square root of to see how close it is to 18. So we know that 18 is between 16 and 25, and it's also closer to 16 than it is 25. So I'm going to pick a number that's closer to 4 than it is 5. For example, I'm going to start with 4.2. So I'm going to times 4.2 by itself because we know a squared number, which is the opposite of a square root, is a number multiplied by itself. So in this case, 4 times 4 equals 16. 5 times 5 equals 25. Therefore, the square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of 16 is 4. So here we go. 4.2 times 4.2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Now, I've done with my 2. I'm moving on to my 4 because I've multiplied it by both numbers. So I have to add a 0. That's the rule. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 4 is 16. Now I'm going to add all these up. I get 4 plus 0, which is 4. 8 plus 8, which is 16. Put my 6 down, carry my 1. 1 plus 6 is 7, and 1. Now, the answer is not 1,764. Because we have two numbers that are after a decimal, we have to have two numbers in our answer that are after a decimal. So we have 1, 2. Our decimal spot is going to go right here. So the answer is 17.64. So I'm just going to put up here in the corner that 4.2 squared equals 17.64. Since I'm doing this with whiteboard, it's good to make sure that I don't lose my numbers. If you're doing it with pen and paper, obviously, you would just write it somewhere else. And now, so that's really, really close. I mean, it's only off by 0.36. But we're going to try and see if we can find one that's closer. Of course, since this is smaller than 18, we would have to get closer to 5. Right? So we started at 4.2. So to get a bigger number, we're going to have to move up. So we're going to try 4.3. Now, for now, guys, I mean, while we're doing this freehand and not using any calculators, I'm only expecting you to use one decimal place because I'm more concerned about the process than having the perfect answer. We are estimating. Now, by all means, if you want to go further and do 4.25 instead of moving all the way up to 4.3, because we know 4.25 would fall in between 4.2 and 4.3. So this may even be a better answer. But for now, where we're doing freehand, we're just going to stick to numbers that have 1 behind the decimal place. So now we'll go ahead and times 4.3 by 4.3. We get 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. Again, I'm done with my 3. I'm moving on to the next number, so I have to add a 0. 4 times 3 is 12 again. Carry my 1, because I put my 2 down, but I still have my 1. It's 4 times 4 is 16, plus the 1 is 17. Add them all up. 9, 4, 8, 1. Again, we need to put in our decimal, and we still have 2 numbers after the decimal place, so we have to have 2 numbers in our answer after the decimal place. So it's 18.49. So 4.3 squared equals 18.49. Now, they're actually they're both off by a little bit. This one is off by this one is above by 0.49, and this one is below by 0.36. So actually, if we took 4.25, I would say it would be very close. So I'm actually going to do it. Like I said, I don't expect you guys to be doing it freehand, but if you do want to, I'm going to give you an example here now. So I'm going to try the 4.25 squared, just to see how close we get. Like I said, I don't expect you on a test or on a quiz to do this. If you said to me, well, Mr. Green, 4.2 squared is only off by 0.36, it is an estimation. We are estimating square roots right now. So that would be a correct answer. 4.3, no, I'm sorry, that's off by 4.9. It's a little bit more. So that's that would not be the acceptable answer. 4.2 would be acceptable if you were only using 2 decimal places. But we're going to go ahead and try this one with 2 decimal places. Sorry, with 1 decimal place. We're going to go ahead with 2 decimal places now. So 5 times 5 is 25. 5. I'm going to run out of space, so I'm going to move this up actually. 4.25 times 4.25. So 5 times 5 is 25. 5, carry my 2. Okay. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Again, I have to carry a number, so I can carry my 1. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21. Okay. Now, I have to add my 0, because I'm done with my 5, I'm on to my next number. I'm going to erase the numbers that I carried, because I'm done with those. 2 times 5 is 10, put down my 0, carry my 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay? Again, I'm done with my 2 now. I'm going to erase my numbers that I carried, and now I have to add 2 zeros, because I'm on to the third number. Okay? 4 times 5 is 20. Put down my 0. Carry my 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 2 is 10. Put my 0 down. Carry my 1. 4 times 4 is 8. So we put down, 4 times, brain fart. 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 1 is 17. So 7 and 1. There we go. That makes more sense. I was going to say. All right, so add it all up. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 0 is 2. 1 plus 5 is 6. And 2 plus 8 is 10. Put down my 0, carry my 1. We get 8. And we have our 1. Now, looks like a huge number, but again, like I said earlier, we have to go ahead and count the numbers after the decimal. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers after the decimal. We need it down here as well. So we get a number that is ridiculously close now. 18.0625, which is only off by 0.0625. That is probably the closest answer we're going to get, unless we move to 4.24. But like I said, we're estimating. So that is a great answer. As I said earlier, though, if you were only going to 1 decimal place, which is all I'm expecting for now with freehand, this 17.64 is an acceptable answer as well. We're going to do one more. This time we're going to do a bigger number. I'm only going to go to 1 decimal place this time, but I just wanted to, in case there are people who want to practice trying to get as close as they can, because that's fine too. I just wanted to show you that example. So this time we're going to do the square root of 46. Now, we know the square root of 46 falls between the square root of 36 and the square root of 49. The square root of 36 is 6, and the square root of 49 is 7. So this time, 46 is much closer to 49 than it is to 36. So we're going to pick a number that's closer to 7, but it has to be in between 6 and 7. So I'm going to start with 6.7 and see what happens. So 6.7 times 6.7, because again, we're squaring the number. The square root, the opposite of a square root is a number times itself. So we're trying to figure out what number times itself will give us 46. That's what we're doing here. 7 times 7 is 49. There's our 9. Carry your 4. 7 times 6 is 42. Plus 4 is 46. There you go. Again, done with my 7, moving on to my 6, so I got to add a 0. 6 times 7 is 42. I should have erased, but it's okay because it's still going to be 42. So there's my 4. 6 times 6 is 36. Plus my 4 is 40. And there you go. Now, 9 plus 0 is 9. 6 plus 2 is 8. 4 plus 0 is 4. And we have 4. Again, two numbers after the decimal place. There's my decimal. So 6.7 squared equals 44.89. That's off by 1.11. That's too far away. Let's try 6.8. So we're going to try 6.8 squared. 8 times 8, 64. Put my 4 down, carry my 6. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 6 is 54. Put my 4 down, and there's no more numbers left, so there goes my 5. Again, done with my 8. I've used it. So now I'm going to move on and do my 6. So I put my 0 down. 6 times 8 is 48. There's my 8. Put my 4 up. 6 times 6 is 36. Plus 4 is 40. Okay, we get 4. 4 plus 8 is 12. Carry my 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. And 4. Now, 46.24, so the square root, not the square root, 68 squared is 46.24. Again, that would be the better answer if you were doing one decimal place. Of course, I could say, well, 46 still falls between these two numbers, so I could take a number in between 6.7 and 6.8, and I would find an answer that would be closer, assuming I stayed close to 6.8. So, for instance, if I tried 6.78 maybe, I would say that would give you a closer answer to the square root of 46. But, like I said, for this one, we're just going to stick to one decimal place, and in that case, your correct answer would be 6.8. So, writing it down, we would say 46 equals, sorry, not 46, the square root of 46 equals 6.8.